a world where Apple and Samsung fight for billions. Where every launch is a polished spectacle, there is one phone that moves differently. It doesn't flood the streets with posters. It doesn't sell in the hundreds of millions. It doesn't race to pack the biggest battery, the sharpest screen, or the fastest processor just for bragging rights. And yet, it changes the game every single year. This is the story of the Google Pixel, a phone that might never have been designed to win, at least not in the way you think. Every October, like clockwork, Google steps onto a stage. Sometimes it's in a giant theater, sometimes in a smaller, more intimate setting. And they unveil their latest Pixel. The lighting is perfect, the slides are crisp, and the demos always get people talking. One year it's Magic Eraser. A tap and that random stranger in the background of your vacation photo is gone. Another year it's Live Translate, your phone listening to a foreign language in real time and feeding you subtitles instantly. Then there's Call Screen, your phone politely asking a telemarketer what they want before you even have to pick up. Clips of these features race across social media. Tech reviewers nod in approval. Headlines read, "The smartest phone on earth," or "the best camera you can get." People who have never touched a Pixel suddenly wonder why their phone can't do that. And yet, when you look at the numbers, Google's market share barely touches 2% worldwide. 2 out of 100. For almost any other phone maker, that's a sign of doom. But for Google, it's the point, because the Pixel isn't meant to be the champion of phone sales. It's meant to be something else entirely. Think of it like this. Apple has the iPhone to lock you into iCloud. Your photos, your messages, your backups, all tied neatly to Apple's servers. The Pixel is Google's version of that lock-in. Gmail, Google Photos, Drive, Docs, YouTube, Search, Maps. The moment you use a Pixel, you're living in Google's world. And leaving isn't easy. But there's another side to Pixel, one most people never think about. The Pixel is Google's laboratory, a testing ground for ideas that will later spread across the entire Android ecosystem. The phone is less a product and more a proof of concept, a signal to the rest of the industry. This is where we think the future is going. If an idea works on Pixel, it often finds its way into Samsung phones, OnePlus phones, even budget devices in developing markets. And suddenly, what started as a Pixel trick becomes a standard feature used by hundreds of millions of people. So even if Google only sells a few million Pixels, their influence stretches far beyond those sales.
Now let's talk about the money, because here's where the Pixel breaks all the usual rules. Apple sells around 200 million iPhones a year. Google, around 10 million Pixels. That's a 20-to-1 difference. And in the hardware business, that scale matters a lot. The more devices you sell, the cheaper it becomes to make each one. That's how you squeeze profit out of hardware. Google can't do that with Pixel, not at 10 million units. So why keep making it? Because the value isn't in the profit margin, it's in the data. It's in the way the Pixel connects users more deeply to Google services. It's in the AI models that learn from how people use the phone in the real world. Every Pixel out there is like a sensor, a node in a massive global experiment in artificial intelligence. And then there's the strangest part of all. Google barely even tries to sell it everywhere. The Pixel is officially available in just over 20 countries. That's it. No giant global push, no billboards on every street corner in Europe, no armies of sales reps in Asia. Why? Because competing head-to-head with Apple and Samsung everywhere would be a war of marketing budgets, supply chains, and price battles. And Google doesn't need to win that war. Instead, they focus on a handful of markets where Pixel's strengths shine, places where AI features and top-tier camera quality can stand out. In those markets, Pixel feels special, exclusive, almost like a tech insider's secret. It's the opposite of a wildfire. It's a controlled burn. And this is where the Trojan horse part comes in, because the Pixel's hardware is just a vessel. The real magic is in the software, specifically Google's machine learning. The Tensor chip inside isn't chasing raw speed records the way Apple's chips do. Instead, it's built to handle AI first. It's optimized for understanding speech, processing images, and making the phone feel almost aware. And that's the bigger picture here. Pixel isn't just about 2025, it's about 10 years from now. Imagine a phone that doesn't wait for you to ask for help. It predicts what you need before you unlock it. Glasses that overlay live translations on the world around you. An assistant that not only books your flights, but checks you in, finds your seat, and reschedules your meeting when it sees the weather delay. That's the kind of future Google is quietly building toward. And Pixel? Pixel is the prototype. By keeping it small, by avoiding the cutthroat economics of global phone sales, Google can afford to experiment. They can take risks other manufacturers can't. And when those experiments work, they don't keep them locked to Pixel forever. They let them trickle out into the rest of Android, shaping the entire industry from the shadows. The Pixel will never outsell the iPhone, and it doesn't need to. Each October, it quietly rewrites what a phone can be, then vanishes while everyone else races to catch up.